The year is 2018.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
Not but 4 days into this year, Logan Paul released a cute little vlog in which he posed with, made fun of, and generally goofed about a dead body. The story of Logan and the suicide forest is one well told, and of course, him vlogging a very real corpse of someone who had committed suicide got him removed from YouTube, and no one watches vlogs ever again. Oh? Not at all? Just kind of a pay decrease? How odd. Actually, despite all the controversy just months earlier, on August 26th of that year, Logan took a huge leap forward in his content creating career. Logan decided to take on KSI in a boxing match. A match which not only formed the content creator boxing scene as we know it today, but which also featured John Scarce. People forget about this. Neat. Now, if this match did anything, it was put on a good face for both of the Paul brothers. I forgot to say that Jake did it too. Not really relevant right now, but they both came off as pretty collected and mature in their pre-fight interviews, and they carried themselves very well in the ring. These boys were big and strong, and they could fight. It felt like they had a good comeback story after the drama. It felt like we got to see a more genuine side of them. Lots of good stuff to say here. However, a few weeks later on September 13th, Eddy Burback, a respected commentary YouTuber, and NakeyJakey, a gamer, sat down to talk about Logan and the improvements in his public perception after the boxing event. Eddy explains this big shift in reputation with a little diagram, which we will now be calling Professor Eddy's fuck-up cycle. In Professor Eddy's cycle, Logan and similarly problematic content creators find mainstream relevance through a big fuck-up. They do something really bad, and everyone talks about how shitty they are for a while. Somehow, during all of this, the massive amounts of exposure actually lead to their audience growing somewhat, and then they go quiet. They spend some time recovering their reputation, and they enter a big stage of forgiveness. This, of course, is once again broken up by some small fuck-ups, as, we are talking about Logan Paul here, not known for good decision-making, but these ones aren't nearly as important as the big attention-grabbing ones, and they are quickly forgiven, only for the cycle to eventually repeat itself with another big fuck-up down the line. So clearly, Logan's cycle begins with the big fuck-up that we already discussed. The Suicide Forest video. I saw this for the first time right before I sat down to write this video. Honestly, it's way worse than I could have thought or imagined. This is just unbelievably out of touch, insensitive. Whatever, I don't need to rehash for the 1000th time why this sucked. You get it. But it happened, and it was a big fuck up by anyone's standards. Logan got canceled pretty hard by internet goers everywhere, but like I mentioned earlier, he still kept his audience, he was not removed from YouTube, so he still had his platform. Logan really got a second lease on internet life here. He immediately piggybacked off the boxing thing, he played into it with his brother for a couple more years, and then began to shift his focus onto his podcast. This setting shift was actually really big for Logan because, after all, it's a lot easier to look at someone in high regard when they're sitting down spewing generic but generally good life takes than, when they're screaming at a camera and plugging merch every 3 seconds. Sure, there were still some mess-ups and miscues in the years following, but no big fuck-up that would warrant Logan being launched back into the mainstream in terms of controversy. Jake actually really took on the brunt of the antic doing responsibilities for a while, and Logan was able to just kind of accrue some social credit with good podcast moments, mostly under the radar. But the mentality never really changed. This here is a clip from Jake talking to Logan about the Suicide Forest incident in June of 2021. Most of this clip is, thankfully, spent on Logan apologizing for and acknowledging his mistake. Cool. Love that. More responsibility and accountability. Surely there will be no ominous red flags that will lead us into the next phase of our cycle.
There's many powerful little things that I took with me into this fight, but someone texted me and they're like, dude, you had the whole world against you at one point.
In retrospect, watching this clip screams, I haven't learned my lesson. The Paul brothers are talking about their incredible comeback from all the drama they've had to face. They didn't let anyone get them down, and they pushed through despite how much the world hated them. But guys, I don't think that's the point. Did the world turn its back on you, or did you just do something terrible and have to pay the consequences? Do you understand that nothing unfair happened to you? Do you realize how lucky you are to have made it out of that as easily as you did? No? Sounds like you're taking your platform for granted. I will now allow WWE superstar Ricochet to explain my last point in a much more concise and accurate way.
Because, Logan, we've seen you do this over and over again. You come out here and you try to spin the story in order to make yourself look like the good guy, but I hate to break it to you, homie. you not the good guy in this situation.
But surely, this one will not be an obvious yet overlooked warning sign of things to come. Unless it totally was. Tricked you again. Yeah, we probably should have seen this one coming.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. It's a really fun game that makes you money. September 1st, cryptozoo.co.
I lost around $50,000 in CryptoZilla.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around $15,000 US dollars.
I lost $25,000. $120,000.
$500,000 Australian, which is $500,000.
In the fall of 2021, Logan Paul released his long-awaited cryptocurrency game, CryptoZoo. Essentially, the idea was that this crypto coin was going to be based around a fun little like animal NFT game that could be making you passive income. So yeah, perfect for a big YouTuber with a young and impressionable audience. Awesome. One problem though, total scam. I won't go into the weeds of this too much because I don't understand it. I'm not very smart. But on December 16th of 2022, somebody who did understand it, YouTuber / internet fraud investigator Coffeezilla, dropped a video exposing CryptoZoo as a scam. Logan had gotten people to buy the coin, but had never actually delivered on making the game he had promised. And when the coin tanked, it was his biggest fans left holding the bag. Millions of dollars in investments down the drain. Logan's response? Do nothing and wait for this to blow over. Eventually, after Coffee made his video and then like 2 subsequent videos, Logan was forced to step up to the plate and actually take responsibility for what he did. He promised to repay his fans and finish the project no matter what, except wait, he hasn't even talked about doing any of that since. With another big fuck up, we find ourselves restarting Professor Eddy's fuck up cycle all over again. And now we gotta talk about cancel culture. There are really 2 reasons that someone gets canceled. Number 1, they're spreading some kind of hateful message and people want to stop them. Number 2, they're using their platform to prey on or harm their audience in some way. This could be a pedophile making kids content to interact with their audience, or a scammer trying to make a bag. The key here is that in both situations, canceling someone is just a means to an end. All canceling really entails is the general acknowledgement of someone as a problematic figure. If your audience disapproves of the actions that you got canceled for, they'll leave, and you'll be left with no platform. Either that or it has to be so bad that a social media site will remove you entirely, but that almost never happens. This means that the real goal of actually canceling someone isn't just to slander them, it's to deplatform them. By taking away a harmful creator's audience, ideally, we could take away their ability to do more harm. The problem lies in that deplatforming relies entirely on the audience deciding to leave when they see a creator doing something immoral. If they don't think it's bad enough to warrant going, if they agree with some of the harmful things a creator has said or done, or they just don't care, then a creator will not lose their platform. This idea and word has been twisted and politicized and whatever so much over the last few years that it's kind of hard to remember that these are its roots, but this definition of cancellation is very important to understanding the Eddy cycle. See, Logan is the second type of cancelable creator. Logan's first transgression with the Suicide Forest thing harmed his young audience by exposing them to some very grave imagery and intense ideas at far too young of an age. Then, with CryptoZoo, Logan harmed his audience directly by essentially just robbing them of their money and never delivering on his subsequent promises. Had his audience left after the Suicide Forest incident, CryptoZoo never could have happened. Had YouTube shut down his account and ended his social media career, those people never would have lost their money. But, Eddy says it best,
and I think it's human nature to want to forgive somebody after a long time of them being put down.
We all wanted to give Logan a second chance. More people than not wanted to see Logan Paul come back and figure his shit out. We wanted to forgive him. But now, unfortunately, that kindness has ended up biting us all in the ass. Also, as a side note, here's a TikTok of Mike and Logan talking about how this cycle might be starting for Andrew Tate.
If he makes it out of this little jail stint that's happening right now, he's going to be in a phenomenal position on the internet for people to hear his story and see how he made it through it. And I got to give him props for that.
Don't forgive Andrew Tate. He is not an immature kid who made some mistakes. He is a sex criminal. He should be banned from as many social media sites as possible before he can infect the world anymore. Cool, I'm glad we got that out of the way. I just felt like I had to talk about it once I saw it. But yeah, all that aside, Logan has officially completed the cycle and is looking to pass back into a forgiveness phase again. And at this juncture in time, I guess really my big takeaway is that I just miss the old commentary genre more than ever.
Yeah. All right, ready to go. Those are your cringe goggles?
Yeah, these are my cringe goggles.
This is our version. Are you ready?
Ready to cringe.
Hit play.
The good old days. The strength of the old commentary genre is something that I think is sorely, sorely missed on the internet. From Drew Gooden to Danny Gonzalez to TMG and of course to Professor Eddy and many, many more. These fellows mastered the balance of lighthearted humor and playful digs mixed into serious commentary and genuine criticism of the content that they thought was either harmful or just plain old goofy. Even better, it felt like these videos actually carried some serious weight back in the day. Like, remember when Jake Paul ran up on Cody Ko during the Jake's Barbershop interview? The shit was crazy. If nothing else, that proved to me just how much Cody's videos mattered to someone like Jake. It felt like during that time, these guys could really check some of the big creators without having to cancel them. It felt like cringy or controversial creators had someone to answer to. Now, the genre has started fading. These guys have, for the most part, just kind of grown out of making drama-related content. Don't get me wrong, there's still people doing the job very well to this day, but it's not quite the same. I think that creators like these are just incredibly, incredibly important to the future generations that are going to grow up on the internet. These guys really taught me internet literacy in a very, very big way. I easily could have been a young gun Logan Paul or just wanted to buy Maverick merch so I could be like him or whatever shit he's trying to sell everyone on. Honestly, I'm old enough where I would have had some money. I could have been one of the people holding the bag for CryptoZoo. Luckily, I had guys like Professor Eddy there to teach me what kind of stranger danger was really lying around in the pits of the vast magical lands of YouTube. These people will always be my biggest personal inspirations, and I expect to make many more videos talking about how incredibly positive commentary content was for keeping a generation of kids away from rolling with the wrong influencer crowd. I hope only that the next generation finds some creators like this too. Anyway, this is a video of all time for sure. I hope you guys like the new, more YouTube-focused content. I think this has been a little bit higher quality. I'm sorry for waiting so long on the upload. I was kind of just being lazy. I really need to be more on top of my shit, but I hope you guys like the higher quality stuff. I hope you guys like the change in subject matter. It feels a little bit more true to me, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So, I love you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.